Hey guys, welcome to the Nathaneal Podcast. Today we have special guest, one of the creators from X, David Azizov. Hello, David.
Hello, hello. Thanks for
Yeah,
inviting me, man. It's been a while since I've done a podcast. I'm
yeah, it's
excited.
it's awesome. I mean, I love your content, bro. Just a lot of humor, a lot of personality. So yeah, it's a no-brainer that you're here.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you. We were talking before about like your quick rise, which
Yeah,
I respected a lot because
thanks, man.
most people on X are kind of like hovering on the same level at all
Mm,
times and not making a lot of progress. Well, I guess they're seemingly making progress because the likes and the impressions are like
mm,
rising, but in the back end, nothing is changing. And I think
yeah.
you as a person, to me, sticks out because you actually seem to be doing something
Mm,
with your business, which is
yeah.
nice. And like the deal you closed speaks for itself. Yeah.
Well, bro, I think it's just really the change of mindset that I had was um instead of because if you look at my impressions before, I was going insane, really. Like
Mhm.
I was also getting like 10K views per post. But when
That
I
was
started,
insane.
yeah, but when I started sacrificing that and I just like actually posted material like solving problems. So I actually made a tweet just now about that too, about solving problems. And when you write those things, you get less impressions because like most people don't really care about those things, but those who will read it will care, and so those people will reach out to you. They will see you as an authority. So yeah.
Yeah, I've thought a lot about this and I post a lot about this as well. But like when you start posting on X, your intention is to make money, right?
Yeah.
And well, you make money with sales and you do
Mm,
sales by getting leads,
yeah.
right?
Mm,
But funny enough, everyone drops into the growth like pyramid of
yeah.
like just focusing on followers, impressions, whatever the fuck they're doing, just focusing on that, but they don't understand that virality is like the reverse of lead generation. Like
Mm,
if you make something applicable or relevant to everything, it's relevant to no one
don't know.
and
Yeah.
you will not attract like a lead. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
simple, right? And I think
Yeah.
it's something every creator has to like kind of fight through because obviously you get into this whole thing because you see these big creators with success,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, you have to there comes a point where you realize this virality isn't helping me.
Mm,
Like your post at some point, like it was mind-boggling. Like the impressions were mind-boggling. Like it was crazy.
yeah.
You could post like a picture of your fucking big toe and it would like get 5K impressions. Like
Yeah.
that
It was going
was
insane at
mad.
one point.
Yeah, but at some point you have to like zoom out and like look in the mirror and say like, why? Like
Mm,
does this help me with my goals? And
mm,
then you start to think about like, okay, so I actually want to attract someone that I want to sell something to that might help their business. So I need
mm.
to start solving problems. And just exactly like you said, when you start solving problems, obviously you're going to filter out the people that don't have the problem.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's copywriting 101. They
mm,
like copywriting always says if people praise your copy, that means it's bad because
yeah,
like it
yeah,
should the main purpose of your copy should sell, not to be praised, right? So yeah.
that's true. I guess the right people will praise you in the end.
Right, yeah. Yeah. And I mean, the most praise would be your bank account going up, you know.
Exactly. And I think that's a hard one because like it that's the eternal goal, but we don't want to turn into the cringe person that just shares like Stripe links
For
all
sure.
day.
Yeah.
It's like a hard balance, right? To to focus on that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
how do you do that? How do you like because I've noticed that the most important piece of content these days is not story, it's not like technical, but it's lifestyle.
Mm,
Like selling the outcome. Like
mm,
selling you have to like in the end, if you sell a service,
mm,
you're basically selling something that you have that other people want
mm,
that's a part of your lifestyle, whether that's like sales or copywriting or email. People only want to learn your copywriting skills because they want to have the same lifestyle.
mm.
So how do you like show your lifestyle, kind of?
Lifestyle. Let's see. Well, I don't really know if this answers your question, but the thing is, I didn't niche down. So like I post a lot about anything that
Yes, yes.
I posted about anything that I wanted. Like if I thinking, because I've been practicing meditation, right?
Hmm.
And I do spirituality practices, things like that. I've been getting into that because of I got into Jack Moses' cohort, and
Yeah.
he invited like guests there, and it just changed. It changed my mindset about those things. I didn't see it as woo woo stuff anymore. So I've been posting more about that, and I think that's I don't know. Like I have a coach, and he tells me like I'm kind of like Danko Jr. because I can pivot to any niche because I write about anything that I want.
Hmm.
Because that's Danko, right? Danko is able to like write about anything because he talks about anything. He connects spirituality with business and fitness and all that stuff. Well, I don't want to say that I am actually Danko Jr. It was a joke, but
Yeah.
I think that's how you kind of become. I don't know if people will want your life, but people will start liking you because I post about anything. If I wanted to post a podcast, I'll post a podcast. I want to post a platitude, I post a platitude. If I want to post a singing video, I post singing videos, right? I post it. I don't
Those are
care.
bangers. Those are bangers, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. I, maybe I'm like weird for this, but I didn't know who Danko was when I started all this. Like
Me,
everyone talks about Danko, but I still don't know who he is. Like, to be honest,
why?
I've
Why?
never watched I've never watched any of his because I do my own thing. I never watch
Right.
anyone's videos. I just write stuff and post
Mm,
it. Um, so, but I know that this advice is to not niche down, but that just comes from like being able, like he's just a pure creative, right?
yeah.
And he is a creative through writing. You have
Mm,
creatives that operate through writing, and you have creatives that operate through like speech, right?
mm, yeah.
Videos and like whatever. And if you want to stand out as a creative, you have to be you have to be a generalist in the
Yeah.
sense that nobody cares about another like finance bro. Nobody cares about another like health guru, but everyone wants to see like a health guru who's also a finance bro.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
being
yeah.
able to connect different topics, this is
Mm,
what being creative is about, connecting the
mm,
dots, right? So to me, like from how I look at it, like Danko is like a true creative.
mm.
Like from what I hear from you, you're the same. And I think I'm the same as well because I just post whatever the fuck I want to post about. I don't care about niching down all this crap. The only thing that I did like content wise is if you want leads specifically, you need to like have some sort of a content strategy that
Yeah,
like gets you those leads.
for sure.
But other than that, you can post about your cat, you can post about
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
ironically, those posts that you do like randomly will close the leads kind of.
yeah. Dude, that is so funny that you mentioned
Yeah.
that because I have a client right now who who became my client because I posted a singing video.
Ah, yeah. He's like, I wanna sing like you. Like build my emails.
Ghostwriting.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy. He's like,
that's
bro,
funny.
I want your voice. So build me an email course.
Nice. Yo, that's be creative, man. Like combining the two, man. Damn. No, but it actually works because if you think about it, people people in general don't like other people solving their problems. Like
Yeah.
because like let's be honest, like if I'm struggling with my content, I'm not gonna hire you because you're better than me,
Yeah.
right?
Mm,
Like that's not how the world works. I'll hire you because I like you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. For sure.
So, but at the same time, I have to like you, but I still have to know that you're better than me at what I do.
Hmm.
You see, it's like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a
yeah.
combination of both. Like I'll give you a funny example. So, um, the first thing, like the first two things I bought with like internet or Wi-Fi money, let's say, um, is a fucking pizza oven. It's just like a fucking pizza oven,
Up in
and
okay.
Yeah, like a pizza oven, like with pallets, where you can make like a Neapolitan style pizza.
Yeah.
And I bought my girlfriend like a bag. Um, but the funny thing is, like, when I bought that oven, I invited all of my friends for like a pizza party,
Yeah.
and I also bake like bread, so I'm like really knowledgeable about bread and stuff and like
Okay.
doughs. So my friends are like, "The fuck, man? This is like you're like an Italian like pizzaiolo, like some kind of pizza guy." And they were so jealous.
Yeah.
And my friend texted me like yesterday that he bought everything. He spent like 800 euros to buy everything. He
Uh,
he wanted what I had.
Wow.
So, and this is the same thing because I showed that I'm good at making a pizza,
Mm.
and he was like, "Yeah, I kind of want that too." But just the lifestyle of being able to make the pizza
Yeah.
was like the seller for him, which is super interesting, I think, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it is interesting because I mean it goes back. I think I read this somewhere. It's like people don't buy products, they buy people in a
People.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, not like the trafficking kind, but like people buy from people,
Yeah,
from
yeah.
people.
Personalities, let's just change it. Like people
Yeah,
don't buy
yeah,
products, they
yeah.
buy personalities. That's way better than
Yeah.
people buy
Yes,
people.
I saved you there. I saved you there. That'll be 50 like dollars.
Send invoice, bro. Send
Yep, yep,
invoice.
yep. No, but it's true. Like, I this is really weird because it took me a long time to figure it out, but the simplicity of just connecting to someone,
Mm.
that being way more powerful than any other sales tactic or authority or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Just yeah, like, and if you think about it in real life, you will most likely hire a person that you know that you think will be good at it than
Mm.
someone you don't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure. That's why actually this is one of my things in my DMs. A lot of people like, I went to Premium Ghostwriting Academy, like PJ by like Nicholas Cole. And a lot of they're all ghostwriters there and they've been contacting me on how like I close clients. And when I tell them, look, I don't DM people and pitch them because that's what they teach you. They teach you to like DM people and solve their problems. I I'd be like, I solve their problems, but I don't just go up to them and say, "You have a problem. You have a problem. You have a problem." Like
just
I,
stupid.
yeah, I talk to them, and then what I do first actually is like get to know them. Like I look at similarities. Oh, you played basketball when you were a kid.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
what's funny? I played basketball too. Oh, dude, you read this book? Oh man, I love that book too. So it's like when you start being a part of a group, and you start becoming friends, they start thinking they just want to give you money. They don't even
Yeah,
care what your product is. They just want to like,
exactly.
okay, what are you selling now? I'll buy it. I'm
The
ready.
the the thing though is that the weird thing is that while that's gonna get you the sale, it's still going to be like them knowing that you'll be able to solve their
Yeah.
problems, but they just trust you because you
Yeah.
connected to them. Like yesterday, I had a call with a coach, and I went into it with like, because I want to help, like I just wanted to give him some advice,
Mm,
and I went into it like just advice mindset, like
mm,
gonna just tell you how it is, like this, and I soon realized I just saw it on his face, and he was quite
mm.
nervous, right? So the first thing I did was talk about where he's from, like what he does and stuff. And immediately the mood changes and he
Yeah.
was like 20 times more receptive to what I was gonna say. And that's key. Like in sales, that's key. Just building rapport. And that's key in coaching as well. Like building rapport is more important than the actual coaching or sales itself. Because
Mm,
people won't share their deepest troubles with you if they don't trust you. And the
mm.
same applies to what you said. Like people will not share their goals, their problems that you want to find out if you don't connect to them. And I
Yeah.
think it's quite sad that like all of these courses, they just tell you to find their goals, find their problems, but like who the fuck shares their goals with a random person?
For
Like,
sure.
if imagine you DM'd me and I don't know who you are, and you're like, yo, what's up? What are your goals? I'm like, my goals to not talk to you ever again, bro. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah, man. It is weird. Those people, man. Well, what's worse than that actually is just literally pitching you, like just I remember this one guy, he did do the human connection thing where he is like, how are you? Like genuinely asking me questions. But then the problem was he just pitched me, do you need a landing page? In the end, I'm like, well, what? Where'd
You
that
like
come from?
like snuck it in.
Yeah, where'd that come from?
The
I don't even
fuck?
have I don't even have a product for a landing page. Like, why would I need a landing page,
Um, yeah, I think the I think this whole wave of like bad DMs is just because of Alex Ramosi, man. Like it's all his fault, man. Like he shares he shares the information that you need to be good at DMs, but like people don't understand that you need to be a human being, like in general,
Yeah.
before you can apply those strategies on human beings. See? So people will see like the steps, like the checklist of like compliment them because people like if people talk about them, then they're like, okay, find out their problems and then pitch your service or sell the implementation.
Mm.
And then they'll be like, hey, I like your bio. It looks really interesting and your content is super, super valuable for my life. And what was the next one? I already forgot. Buy my website. Like just fucking fuck. Like
Yeah, I definitely get you. I get so many DMs like that. And yeah, a lot of people in my message request right now. I'm sorry, guys. Your DMs are bad.
Dude, I delete 90% of all the message requests these days. Like, I only reply to like, why would I spend my energy? Like, in the end, life is energy, right?
Yeah.
You either get it or spend it. So
Mm.
why would I spend my energy on someone who doesn't spend energy on me?
Yeah, just
Like,
pitching, right?
just like copy paste me in a message and like expect something in return. Like, no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
just
Definitely. I would say that worked before, and that's why some gurus would, like some big creators would say that because there
2
wasn't a
years
lot.
ago,
Yeah, because there wasn't a lot of competition
of
back
course.
then, right? But now it's like there's so many people who do that, and it's not gonna work anymore.
And yes and no, because even say that you apply the strategy to someone who doesn't know X or like doesn't know anything, just
Mm.
in general, right? You just DM someone on Facebook, whatever, it's still going to look weird,
Mm.
right? I think it's just it works because the demand was high. Like the demand was high and the supply was low. So it didn't really matter how you approach someone. They
Mm.
wanted your stuff anyways, right?
Right. Okay,
Right?
gotcha. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the message itself is not the issue, it's the demand. Now the market is sophisticated, people know where to get the good stuff. So you
Yeah,
need
yeah.
to actually have some finesse, right? Some
Yeah.
some sophistication in what you do. And well, yeah, you can you can you can look at other platforms as well, like LinkedIn, which has
Mm.
far less sophistication.
Mm.
Obviously, Twitter is just built different. Like everyone on Twitter is fucking crazy, right? Um, LinkedIn is just chiller and people is a bit slower. You can
Yeah.
still do that stuff,
Right.
but in 2 years it will be like it will not work anymore. It's just how it
Mm.
is, right?
I see, I
It's
see.
yeah.
Gotcha, gotcha. Well, now I can get to the meaty stuff. I wanted to ask you, I mentioned this earlier. Your handle in X is thinking blocks. What does that mean?
I I actually really like that you pronounced it correctly because all my friends are like fucking they just say the most random shit when they when
Like
they when
what?
they no like because they're Dutch, right?
Eh.
So they just I can't even pronounce it. It will be just a shambles, but it doesn't matter. Thank you.
You're welcome,
But
bro.
this is actually something I thought about changing because it's not really relevant to what I do anymore.
Mm.
But it's actually my first like business idea, kind of.
Mm.
So I remember last year in July, I wanted to start like an information team page thing where, and it was called Blocks, and it would teach people fundamentals of a skill,
Mm.
right? So you had thinking blocks, and then you would learn the fundamentals of thinking,
Mm.
and blocks as in building
Yeah,
blocks.
building blocks, yeah.
So I would do team pages for like each skill. So like say selling blocks, thinking blocks, coaching blocks, etc.,
Right.
etc., etc.,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
That was my plan, but I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and um, it pretty much like failed really badly. So yeah, that was like my first idea I had to burn.
Mm,
And to me, that was quite important because I'm someone who's very like perfectionistic
mm,
and I don't like failing. So
mm.
accepting the failure of that because I had a
Difficult.
logo, it was really, really difficult for me. So I keep it. I keep the ad because it's like it's a reminder of me that this whole
Wow.
journey is not about success, it's about failure.
Wow. That's powerful, bro.
Yeah. So that's just it.
Wh-
Like
When was this? Like, what month, what year?
so last year in I want to start this back in 20. It's actually it was an idea that I was working on since 2021,
Mm,
but I'm like also a huge procrastinator. So I was like scheming, this and that. And when I finally started back in like August 2023, I realized like what is the point of all the planning if I don't know what the fuck I'm doing? Like so it failed miserably. I was like I quit after 2 weeks. This is why when I share my I have a typefully where you see my daily like routine,
mm,
and there's like 2 weeks in August and then 3 months of nothing.
mm.
And in those 3 months, I really had to like work on myself and like be like reset, like just think about what I want to do and like what kind of a mentality is
Right.
needed to make this work, right? To get a business out of this.
Yeah.
So 2021 was the idea because back in 2022, the end of 2022, after Corona, I started really working on myself, like personal development.
Mm,
Like I was listening to like audiobooks, lectures for like 7 hours a day during like a job. Like
yeah.
just it's crazy. Like and I realized kind of that a lot of people are their own enemy, right? Their own
Mm,
biggest enemy. And I wanted to teach people to like think because like you're not taught how to think, you're taught what to
yeah.
think in the
Yeah. Oh,
world,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my plan. It didn't work out. I'm s- I'm still gonna like write about it, I guess, but I keep the handle just to as like a scar, like a I'm
Yeah.
proud of the scar, you know.
That's
So
awesome,
that's
bro.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Uh,
But is it supposed to be a course or a website?
the 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 goal was to start up with content
All right.
and just push out like content on thinking and stuff, and then launch a course eventually. Because like I
Mm,
got into all of this because of like digital products and stuff.
mm,
I thought it was really interesting to share knowledge at scale.
yeah.
But to be honest, the digital products niche is like really fucking saturated right now. Like back in 2020 until 2022, you
It
could
was
do
still
this.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, but like the algorithm is not like as potent anymore. The people don't want more information. So I quickly realized that a personal brand is way more impactful than starting like another team page on
Mm,
X specifically, right?
right.
Um, so yeah, that was the realization I had, and I might want like do it one day, right?
Yeah.
But
That's actually what I was gonna ask.
yeah, yeah. But because look, a lot of people think that when they fail in the past, it's because the idea was shit.
Mm.
But no, you were shit.
Yeah, you just didn't have the skills.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing. So I often reflect on like what can I do to like make this work again,
Yeah.
and maybe in the future I'll like do something with it. I don't know. Like I have a lot of plans. Um, Yeah, the thing with the personal brand is like you said, you can do anything if you're good at copywriting and if you're good at like persuading people to
Yeah.
pay attention to you, right?
Mm.
That's it.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
for sure. For
yeah.
sure. And another thing in your bio, you mentioned there that you were like an esports player and coach. What was
Yeah.
that? What was that? Can you tell us more about that?
Um, so basically it's actually like a big part of my story, which I don't talk about enough, but um basically I used to be like obsessed by like competitive esports. And I
Mm,
played competitive esports from 2018 to 2022
right.
because at the time I was studying for an MBA, and I
Mm,
basically was really like demotivated. I basically didn't care for anything except for
mm.
video games at that time. So
Yeah.
I was like, this looks fun. Like video games are like really good for progression and like setting goals, etc. So it was really potent for me. So I went for it and I played competitive. It took my life over because you can't get anywhere in that scene without like being a no lifer. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't
Yeah.
work, right? So I did that for 2 years, but obviously I only made it to like tier two, which is nationals level of like where I'm from.
What game is this?
Rainbow Six Siege, FPS
Okay.
shooter. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Um, but it was fun, right? I learned, I got to know a lot of people. I learned a lot about like teamwork, etc. And during those days, I quit my MBA and I
Mm,
started like a coaching degree, like a well-being and coaching degree, because I was like kind of finding my purpose, you know?
mm.
Like I got into the MBA because everyone in high school was like telling
This
me like business is business make you money. Yeah, make money then, I guess. Yeah. So I'll do that because, but deep down, deep down, I was interested in like psychology, but everyone
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, nobody makes money as a therapist, bro. Like, you got to go to get MBA." So, so yeah, I just ignored it. But in the end, this is ironic, I think. In the end, the people that understand like human psychology make the most money.
Yeah,
Side note.
yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, anyways, then another thing, um, another proof that that you don't have to listen to what everyone else says, like because most people are clueless. But yeah, whatever. Um, so during those days of like esports, um, it was rough, man. Like actually, in those days, failure, like I lived it. I lived in it. Like I was like fucking Bane, man. Like failure was my forge. Like there's nothing like you don't do anything else in esports and lose. Like you just get L's stacked upon each other
Yeah.
until you're like sitting on a throne of L's, man. Like
Yeah, I definitely get
just
that.
yep. So I actually learned a lot, I guess. But in the end, I got in a really like tough spot. I kind of like, hit rock bottom there,
Mm.
in my life because I was like I didn't know what my purpose was. I just found something I liked, but I didn't really know what my purpose was.
What you wanted to
So
do out of it.
yeah, yeah, like just it was something I liked doing, but it was like to cope with the fact I didn't have no purpose.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You get what I mean? So at some point it hit me, um, and it actually hit me because I know you're a fan of Jordan Peterson, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Actually, the moment that changed it for me was like listening to one of his podcasts with Joe Rogan, and like I was working my factory job at the time and listening to podcasts. And this is so ironic, actually. Like, do you mind if I just
Go
fucking
ahead. Go
yeah,
ahead. Go ahead,
yeah.
man.
Um,
Just keep going.
so so the weird thing is that during this entire time of like gaming and stuff and like doing this all day long, um, there was one time that like a Joe Rogan clip went viral
Mm.
where he said something about gaming being like just a waste of time,
Yeah.
something like that. But I didn't watch the clip, and like now I kind of realize I didn't watch the clip because I knew it was true.
You
So
just denial.
yeah, so when I was in the factory job, I was like listening to esports podcasts and stuff, and I mean I got bored of it. Like, who's gonna listen to that for 7 hours a day? Like, you know?
Yes.
So this was the thing. I only cared for esports, and then I was like bored. So I kind of started searching for things that interested me. And this is the moment where I like started like chasing my curiosity again. Because
Mm.
I wasn't curious for anything. I was just like a nihilist who didn't care about anything but
Mm.
esports. And I started like chasing like my curiosity, being interested in stuff again. And the first thing I thought about, ironically,
Joe
was
Rogan.
that the clip of Joe Rogan. I was like, I
What if
gotta
he's
like
right?
check it out. Yeah, I gotta check out his podcasts. And I was like hooked, man. Like I listened to like so many Joe Rogan podcasts, and one day I was like, oh, this I'm interested in psychology, so let's listen to like Jordan Peterson. I listened to it, and I remember this clearly. I was listening, and he kind of like went on this like tirade for 2 minutes, and it was exactly what I was doing,
Mm.
exactly what I was feeling, and exactly what I was
Wow.
doing wrong.
Mm.
And it hit me like a brick. I was like, what the fuck am I doing in my life? So from that point, I really started to like work on myself. I got more into like Twitter as like a knowledge library,
Mm.
like we all do it, right? I use it to learn skills. I go into like Money X. I developed myself. Like I did all of the like personality psychology courses, read a lot of books, lectures, whatever, man, whatever. And I quit esports like because of it. I quit and I coached for like 2 or 3 months. But then again, I realized this is just to,
The coat.
yeah, to cope and basically to keep
Distract.
myself, no, keep myself in the same like environment.
Okay.
Because I built a lot of friendships and I didn't want to just drop that.
Mm.
So there was something that was pulling me back in that
Right.
routine,
Yeah.
because you're spending a lot of time with people, right? Um, but I also realized it wasn't for me. Then I moved out of the house and yeah, I started like, I graduated last year. And before I was graduating, actually, I I decided to stop procrastinating and actually like, get shit done.
Mm.
And that's why I like hired a mentor before actually starting on X. And that's why, yeah, that's why I am where I am because I didn't want to spend the rest of my life like regretting not taking action, basically. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Definitely get to it, bro.
yeah, I
So
just went on a tirade there. Yeah, whatever.
no problem, no problem. So it's basically like MBA, is that after college, after high school? MBA is after high school, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously, yeah. Otherwise, you can't do it. Yeah,
Yeah, and then after that, in the middle of your MBA, you started like esports because you weren't motivated.
yeah. And I was playing. Basically, I think I went to class for like 3 months of the
Mm,
entire 4 years,
mm,
and I was just playing video games. And I was like, while I'm playing video games, I might as well do it competitively, right? So
yeah.
that
So
was
you
the
quit
logic behind it.
MBA.
I quit NBA after 4 years,
Yeah.
um, because I was also like, I'm doing this for no reason, just
Mm,
because other people told me that it was a good decision.
mm,
Um, so that's when I like chose like a degree that I really was interested in, which is what like it's like a well-being management and coaching, which is like it's a holistic well-being approach. And I was interested in that because I was raised like that. And then I was interested in the coaching skills because
right.
I knew it was important, right? So yeah, and actually that like degree on its own, it also really helped me because obviously
Mm,
you're coaching and you're getting coached and you're like
mm,
learning things about yourself. So yeah,
right.
that was a good decision actually, yeah, if I think about it. Yeah.
Nice. And that was kind of, you mentioned psychology. Is that like how you got your psychology or through Jordan Peterson? Like where did your psychology, where would you say you got most knowledge about psychology? Just podcasts?
Hmm. I guess it's a combination of all things, but I'm like a micro learner.
Mm,
So I learn from everything. Like I
right.
can even learn from watching someone's face for 10 hours. Like
Mm,
just so I guess like everything. Social media feeds, videos, podcasts, books, even like non-fiction, fiction, it doesn't matter. Like you can learn. This is the thing. Everything in life has knowledge about everything in life.
mm,
If you look closely enough, you can see the knowledge. So to me, the thing that got me the most knowledge was not the
was
vessels
that a
that
book?
carried it,
Yeah.
but the interest in the topic itself.
Wow.
So
So
the
what sparked
curiosity.
your interest? What sparked your interest about psychology?
I used to be interested in psychology as a kid because I loved observing people. I love like
Mm,
because people are interesting in general, right?
yeah.
You can like look at there's like a to me like to a normal human being there's like infinite amount of humans like kind of
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Can't ever like get to know all of them. So but everyone has a different story. Everyone has a different like psychology. So
Yeah.
I'm interested in that from that perspective because the knowledge is endless and infinitely complex. So I like
Mm,
that. I'm an abstract thinker, so I like that. But as I was growing up, people kept telling me like, psychology is useless. Like you don't like nobody cares about that, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of got distracted. I also stopped reading books, etc. Um, but yeah, I started getting back into it because of like just choosing my curiosity above what other people were deeming it to be, right? So
Right.
yeah,
Curiosity.
yeah,
That's
that's
it's
vital, man.
Yeah, yeah, curiosity. You mention it a lot, and I think there's something important there. Like, what do you think? Do you have a theory on where our curiosity lies from? Do you think it's genetics, culture, or is it just like genuinely from us?
It's human nature. I think it comes back from our desire to explore the unknown.
Hmm.
Because if you think about it, like everything is unknown,
Hmm.
and humans only got somewhere because we
Because they
explored that
explored.
unknown. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the concept of consciousness is exploration of the unknown.
Yeah.
Because being conscious makes you aware that there's things you don't know and that
Hmm.
things are unknown. Like if you're a cow that's eating grass,
You don't care.
you're just eating grass. You don't
Yeah.
care about what's not known to you, right? So
Yeah.
consciousness unlocks like the unknown,
Right.
and curiosity is like the cure to the unknown kind of, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And because of the feedback loop that curiosity creates, because when you're curious for something, you're like, I want to know about that. And when you know about that, you realize how little you know, like
Hmm.
the Socratic like method of like I know nothing.
Yeah.
The more you know, the less you really know or think you know.
Yeah.
And the more that the curiosity gets like strengthened because you want to fill that gap. People
Hmm.
want to fill the gap, right? They want to not only explore the unknown, but they want to find some sort of order in the unknown, like in the
Hmm.
in the chaos kind of, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the core like where it comes from, I think. Yeah.
Right. And what do you think your unknown was at that point when you like because you mentioned like you were a nihilist, right? Like you were a nihilist who didn't believe like you were just floating in life around life. Like what was the unknown that you wanted to explore? What do you think that is?
It's actually a good question because like the way you say it, I was actually just a cow eating grass.
No offense, bro. No offense.
No, that's true. That's true. It's true though, because yeah, you're right. No, what was my unknown? Everything, like everything, because the way you turn into a nihilist is because you basically reduce everything in life to the core like meaningless
Yeah.
physical things.
Yeah.
Like the game of football becomes guys running around and kicking a ball.
Yeah.
And if you do that, you remove all meaning, and then you come to the conclusion that life has no meaning,
Yeah.
while the meaning is attributed to it, and we attribute it to it because we're conscious, like
Mm,
we create meaning, right? So life is meaningless, like that's the point. But I
mm.
think what my like immediate unknown was just like purpose or like
Purpose.
understanding myself.
Mm. So it was more
Because
like you just wanted to explore the unknown. I guess it's more like potential, would you say?
myself,
Yeah, your
yeah, kind
potential.
of. Yeah, because I I think what also helped me, but also like was hard for me because also was a cynical person. Like
Yeah.
the thing is, when you're smart, like, I guess I can say that about myself, but when you're like smarter, the inevitable is to become cynical because, yeah, that's what smart people do. It's like the endless
They
purge
question
of
everything, right?
intelligence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Um, and my mother is also very smart, so she's also very cynical. And
mm,
what I what I what I noticed is that I just felt really bad all the time. I felt really like I didn't fit in anywhere. I was just like different all the time.
mm.
And instead of like trying to like fill the unknown there of like who am I?
Just ignore it.
What I just ignored it and like tried to ignore those emotions and just yeah, consume, escape, right?
Mm.
Whether that's video games, smoking weed or whatever that was,
Wow.
I just tried to escape from it. So yeah, I was escaping from the unknown. I was a cow. Yeah.
For sure. I definitely get you, bro. Because I feel like when you speak, those are the same things that I felt before.
Yeah,
If
tell me
you
about
don't,
yourself, man.
okay. Well, I'm also gonna go into a blurb.
Let's go. Where's the popcorn?
So I posted about this, like about like Jordan Peterson post that I made.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, my mother, well, my father left before I was born. So I was an accident child, and my mother was ashamed of an accident child. She didn't disown me, she didn't like give me to someone else, but she didn't, she was afraid of people condemning her,
Hmm.
right? Like
Yeah.
she was afraid that people would say, oh, she had a baby out of wedlock, and she's careless, things like that. And she was in law school back then. So she she was scared that people would judge her. So what happened when I was born was I was registered to my grandmother's name. So technically, legally speaking, my biological mother is my sister, legal sister. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, kind of, yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So my legal mother is my biological grandmother. And it was just a screwed up family because there was also a lot of pent up resentment. Like
Mm.
they were always angry with each other, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like my mother was working hard, and it's kind of, this is a tangent, but she's unknowingly cruel to others because she's the breadwinner. So because she is the one that's working hard, she doesn't recognize that she's being like, she feels like it's justified for her to be cruel to the other people who are
Yeah, man.
freeloaders. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So
Yeah, yeah.
because she's like working hard, she thinks that she could like get out, um, have a free pass for that. And so, you know, being in that position, I mean, maybe not, like maybe it's just me, but when I was in that position, I felt lost, man. Like I didn't know who I was, bro. Like I
Hmm.
didn't know, what, this my mother? I called her mommy, but she wasn't my mother legally. And then I had another mother who was my grandmother. So, as a kid, it fucks up your psyche, right? Because you're a kid and everything should be, it's really hard to understand things when you're a kid because everything is supposed to be simple, right? Mama, dada,
Hmm.
cow, like chair, that's it.
Yeah.
If there's a mama and then there's a mama, it's like it doesn't make sense for a kid. What does that mean? So I was so confused and I just lied. I just followed their path. Like I just trusted my mother. Trusted my parents because if I didn't, I would die, right? Like I
Hmm.
wouldn't know what to do. So I just trusted them and I did what they wanted me to do. I lied. I told people that, she's not my mother. And it was full of lies. My mother even introduced me as her nephew. So yeah, a
Damn.
lot of lies there, a lot of weird things happening. And I was just a lost kid, like confused with my identity. And I just denied it, like like denying who you are, not exploring that unknown. Because every time I asked my mother where my father is, she would just like throw a drama thing where she would deny everything. She would like say you don't need to look for him, or she would like try. There was one point when I was a teenager when I really went down deep and confronted her. She she cried. She made it look like she was such a victim, which I'm not discounting that. I'm not discounting that she was a victim, that maybe there was something wrong that happened, but it was just sad because it felt like she couldn't stand up. She couldn't take responsibility for me, you know. So again, it was just like that. I didn't go deep enough because I was scared, or I didn't care. I just didn't. If I went deep into who I was, it would mean a lot of conflict in my family and in myself. So yeah, I lived like that for like what 17 years, 18 years, something like that. 16 years until 16. And in 2020, that was the pandemic. I kind of like you, I just stumbled across a podcast, Joe Rogan as well. David Goggins though. David
Yeah.
Goggins. David Goggins was the first guy that I
Yeah.
met, and his story resonated with me because he was in the same position with me, but 10 times worse, right? Because he also had
Mhm.
like a fucked up father, and even he
Yep.
was beat up, and his mother also kind of like, was dead in a way because she didn't know what to do in life as well.
Have you read
And
his book?
yeah, I read his book.
It's crazy, right? It's
Yeah,
actually
bro.
crazy.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
His life is that's why he was an inspiration to me because I saw him. It's like he became my North Star. Not really like I wanted to be like him, but he showed me that look, you can come from a fucked up position. You can
Hmm.
come from a fucked up family. You can have all the bad genetics. You can just like be outright disgusting, but make something out of yourself.
Hmm.
That's what he showed people. And that was when like I actually went bazonkers with running. Like I did what he did. Like I would run 4 miles every day. And there was a point when I would get so sore, I would also do his tactics where I would go to ice. Like I would dip myself in my legs into ice. And if my legs don't work, I would do pull-ups. I went
Yeah.
David Goggins too. Like I had the David Goggins moment there. And that's when I started what you said, like exploring the unknown in a way, like exploring
Hmm.
my curiosity, because that's when I was running and everything was painful. I was reminding myself, looking back at, like, oh, my father left me, but I'm still here. I'm like, I'm still a hard motherfucker. I'm talking David Goggins shit. Like, who's gonna carry the boats, man? Like, my
Hmm.
mother did this to me, but I'm still here. So that's when I started exploring it, and then coupled that with meeting Jordan Peterson. That's when really I became powerful. What you were saying, that's why I understood about putting order, exploring the unknown, because that's what that Jordan Peterson talks about, right? The unknown and the known, order, chaos, things like
Hmm.
that. And then yeah, that's when I started like really going deep also into self improvement. So I guess coronavirus isn't too bad for both of us.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. Like just the amount of time and like time with yourself you suddenly had was just it would or break you like many people like it broke many people's minds, just
Mm,
Corona, or it would like change your life.
yeah,
I think like what's interesting is that you kind of like went into the physical rabbit hole first.
yeah,
I went to the mental rabbit hole first,
mm,
but both are the same. Both are
yeah,
just realizing that whatever happens in your life is like it happens, right?
mm,
It happens, and you can all resent that and like make it your your spiked chain or whatever. Like you're
mm,
like bear the cross, I guess. But or you can take responsibility for what control you have and just make the best of it. And I
yeah,
think that a lot of people carry resentment for the people that they think are responsible for what's happening in their life,
yeah,
while in a lot of cases, like or like in all of the cases, life is not what happens, it's how you deal with it. So
yeah. You create
it's
your
how
life.
you deal with
Yeah,
what you're given, right?
mm,
And to me, that moment, I think you would say the same, but for me, that moment of like that aha moment was just I realized that every single thing that I was feeling, all the resentment that was building up, and all the resentment I saw with my mother that you probably also saw,
mm,
um, it's my own like responsibility. Like it's
yeah,
I do this to myself, basically, right?
mm.
Which is also why I also resonate with David Goggins because, dude, like I I find it crazy, but just the things that he went through is insane, man. Just like
Yeah.
insane, and it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop, man. It doesn't
It doesn't
stop.
stop.
Like I remember listening to the part of like just his early childhood where he's like his dad is like fucked up and like this
Yeah,
gambling stuff,
yeah,
and
yeah.
his mother is like the classic like woman who's being like abused by the crazy guy. And you think like, okay, so he's traumatized and he's gonna like,
Become a
yeah,
hero.
yeah, figure it out. But no, he just fucking
He became
does.
fat.
He became fucking fat, and then he lost it all, and then he does 3 hell weeks in a row. It's just like the fuck, like
Yeah.
he's the epitome of like fighting your demons, I think, because
Yeah, bro.
he he
Because
he, he fought them. Yeah,
yeah, he also shows like the human story where it's not really like overnight success where you just go from zero to boom, you know? It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
you're gonna go up and down and up and
yeah. I
down and
love
up
that,
and down.
and
And even
also,
now,
yeah, true. He even now he has like hard moments, just like
yeah,
everyone else.
yeah,
Like the funny part is when you go on the journey of like entrepreneurship or whatever, you will go to the same things in 2 months, but you'll go to the same things in 10 years. It
yeah,
just
yeah.
the situation doesn't change; it's how you deal with them that
Mm,
changes, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
what I found, what helped me from that book specifically, and maybe for the people listening, what was it? What was the book called? Like the first book, the
Can't hurt me.
yeah, Can't Hurt Me. What helped me specifically from that book was I still was like I was working on myself, but I was still playing a lot of video games because
Mm,
that was still kind of my escape, right?
mm,
Just to relax or whatever. Um, but in the book, he says that he used to play a lot of basketball,
mm,
and that basketball was his escape from all of like everything he went through.
yeah.
And that kind of, and then he said like, I loved basketball, but I don't play basketball anymore.
Mm, yeah.
And that kind of like woke me up because I love playing video games, but yeah, if you want something, you have to learn
You
how to,
sacrifice some things.
yeah, yeah, exactly, sacrifice. So now I still do play video games, but just at night. But at in that time, I was kind of hibernating. You probably maybe went through the same thing, but when you're developing, there's like old you pulling
Yeah,
and you like trying to like go further.
yeah.
And that was it. Like I had to let go of like the good aspects of the old me, which was relaxing with video games, you know.
Mm,
So yeah, you just recognize that all the successful people went through the same thing as you.
mm. In
Yeah.
different, just in
What,
different
what, what
ways.
what was your like aha moment?
Aha moment.
Yeah.
Huh. Like, what do you mean aha moment? I'm trying to think because I feel like I have a lot, but aha moment in terms of what?
The biggest aha moment.
The biggest aha moment? Well, as of now in my life, because I left home just a year ago. That's why I had to work. So that's when I left my family. Like I left, the toxic house.
Yeah.
And that's probably my aha moment when I decided to like because tried to work with them with my family, but it just didn't. It felt like I was trying to reach my goals and they were trying to pull me towards them, and it's like they don't support me. They just want me to succeed in their terms, not
Yeah.
my terms.
Hmm.
And probably my aha moment is like I can cut off these people from my life. I can actually choose what my life would look like even without the support of my family. So all my life, again, it's like all my life, I mentioned earlier, my family dictated what my life was going to look like, who I was going to be, um what career I was going to take, who my mother was, who my father was, who anyone was, all my life.
Yeah.
And then when I decided, you know what, this is my fucking life, you know, you can
Hmm.
you can love me if you want, but you can't force what you want out of my life for me, right? So just putting that barrier in there. And if they want to talk to me, I mean, I would have stayed there, or I would have connected with them. And I did try to, but it's just whenever I try to reach out, they just try to pull me back in. And so that's
Just when I
that's my
got out,
reason.
they put me back in. That was a bad
Yeah.
imitation, but whatever. No, I recognize, yeah, I recognize a lot of like things that I went through with you, because yeah, you try to make things right with your family because you realize they're still your family,
Yeah.
right? But at the end of the day, you also realize that what they're doing is holding you back.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, you're realizing that they don't do it on purpose, but they're still
Mm.
doing it, right? I think it's very hard because it brings more like resentment kind of, right? Because you're like,
Mm.
you feel like you have to cut ties, and then you have to cut ties but not resent them, which is hard. It's
Yeah.
like you don't want to cut ties with your family, right?
Yeah.
Because you feel guilty. Do
Mm.
you like feel guilty about that, or is it something you know you process?
Well, what happened was I cut them before and then I tried to go back, and just now I don't feel guilty now because something happened. I'm just gonna say what happened. So I asked them for money because I was like getting what's this? There was trouble in my work and I was about to get fired as well. So
Mm.
that's why I also like had to, I was actually, my back was against the wall with Twitter as well. So I really need to monetize my Twitter because my job was also like getting bad. And so I asked them for money because I never asked them for money. I never asked them for anything. So I felt like if I asked them now, maybe at least they could give some. And I asked them only for like per month for at least 3 months, 10,000, which is around like 10,000 pesos is around, hold on, like 200 euros, maybe less than that. I asked them 200 euros per month.
Mm-hmm.
100, yeah, 200 euros per month. And they didn't. And my mother was my mother was in Europe at that time. She was having a vacation, and I think she was at Belgium actually. I think she was at Belgium at that time.
Damn.
And and I asked her, I called her then. I was like, I need money because I don't have like my job's in trouble, and I need to continue my studies. I was actually in university like a
Oh,
couple of months
really?
ago. Yeah.
What
And
were
I
you
was
studying?
already public administration. So
Mm.
I was on my way to becoming a lawyer. That was the path that they
Oh,
laid out. And I
damn.
was continuing it, like I was doing it. And initially, I wanted to continue doing university with Twitter or work, right?
Yep, yep.
That was the plan. And so that's what I asked them. I was like, I need money to continue studying, right? I told them like I need to if I'm going to continue studying, I need some money. And she didn't want to. Like she said that it was too much. And which was again, it was just ridiculous for me because she was in Europe having a vacation and I was asking like not even half of their ticket probably.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just that was really when I was so angry at that time. That's why right now, like when you ask me if I regret it, I kind of don't at this moment because I can still feel the anger, I can still
Mm-hmm.
feel the anger of asking her for a favor and she not doing the favor for me.
Yeah. You kind of realize that she doesn't really care for you,
Yeah, that's how I felt.
but that's how it is. Because people often say like, I don't have time for that, or I don't have money for that.
Yeah.
No, you just don't care
You
for
just
it.
yeah, you just
It's kind of sad, but I guess you probably realize at that moment that you don't owe anything to them anymore.
yeah.
Kind of freed you. It kind of freed you, didn't it?
Yeah, it when that happened, I also realized, man, why am I even studying in university? The only reason why I'm here in
Yeah.
university was because of their plan. Like they
Yeah.
wanted me to go here.
Dude, that's crazy. Is that crazy? Like, if you think about it, you're just from what I've heard from you, is like your family denied your existence and you're still trying to do right to them by studying and like doing all that, despite the fact that they don't even care, like in the end,
Yeah.
right? That's crazy, right?
Yeah, and it is very painful too, bro.
Yeah,
It's,
obviously.
it's very
Obviously.
painful. And that's why right now I'm just living in my own terms. Like I don't even know if I'm gonna continue like college. I was already in third year. I was about to graduate.
Oh,
But
damn.
yeah, and man, it was
Fuck
just
it,
like
man. Like fuck it. Like in the end, if you don't need the degree, if you don't intend to become a lawyer, if you don't intend to become a doctor, you don't need a degree. So that's
Yeah.
simple, right?
I mean, fair. Actually, my plan is to go to Spain.
Nice. Where?
I still don't know when we're in Spain yet, but I want to go to Spain because apparently, since Philippines was a colony by
Colony.
Spain,
Yeah.
yeah, if I stay in Spain, they like for 2 years, I'm gonna become a Spanish
Citizen.
citizen.
Yeah.
So my passport is gonna be like better because Philippines, it's like a very weak passport, bro. But if I get like a Spanish passport, I'll like be able to go to places. So yeah, I still don't know where in
Wait,
Spain.
what's holding you back from doing it now?
Right now, finances for now. For now. Because I still haven't had like enough. So I kind of went in debt with, even if I
Yeah.
closed
Yeah.
that deal, I still
Yeah.
paid
Yeah.
off my debt.
Yeah.
And I still have like this contract. This place, this apartment is a rented place, so we still have a contract here. Maybe after this. And also I actually still don't have a passport, bro.
Ah, oh, damn.
Yeah.
What? In the Philippines, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah.
don't exist? You actually
Well,
don't exist?
I have an ID, but my
Okay.
again, this is my family, bro. They didn't ever
Okay.
get
What
me a
the fuck?
passport.
I was like, this guy doesn't exist. He's not real. He's not real.
I have a driver's license, just not a
Damn.
passport.
I don't have a driver's license. So yeah,
But you
you
have a
got you.
passport.
Yes. We can exchange.
Well, it's a Filipino driver's license, so I don't know what value that holds in Belgium, bro.
I think it will hold value. I think you can easily like, is it an international like driver's license? Or is it
No.
okay? Yeah, I guess, yeah. So do you rent with you have a girlfriend, right?
Yeah, I have a girlfriend.
She live with you?
Yeah, she lives with me. She's actually the reason why I was able to. Dude, when I left home, I was broke, like zero. I had zero because again, my
Me
family didn't
too.
give me anything, bro. Like
Yeah, same.
I just went out of home with a bag and
Same.
went to my girlfriend, asked my girlfriend,
Same.
asked my girlfriend, can I stay here for a while? And
Same.
she was like, okay, you can stay here. And that's why I also had to like look for. So I developed the hustler's mentality because I needed to work for her to repay her for everything. So yeah.
That's crazy, bro. Like I did the same thing. I had this like big argument with my mother. Just
Mm,
basically, it's always the resentment, and then you just get angry at each other, and
yeah.
it just becomes a toxic environment, right?
Mm.
And at one point, I was like, I'm not gonna keep like putting myself through this. So I just packed the bag and I said bye. Like before that, she quite literally like she was very protective over me, and like she controlled everything in my life that I did.
Mm.
Everything. Like I couldn't go out, I couldn't talk to that friend,
Yeah, bro.
that girl. It doesn't matter. Like just authority constantly. And in that moment, I took control of my own life and I said, fuck it. And I just took a bag and left. But the thing is, before that, I couldn't do that because I was like, oh, I don't have money. I don't I don't have anything.
Mm.
But I had a girlfriend then, still. But at that moment, I was like, I have an option. And even though I don't like this option, and I'm still gonna do it.
Yeah.
So said bye and I lived with my girlfriend's parents for 6 months, and then we moved into a student home, and
Mm.
now we're like moved again into this apartment. It's kind of crazy, bro. Same thing.
Wow. Our stories are like
Similar.
parallels,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
That's
But
crazy.
the weird thing is what I noticed is that your family denied your existence, kind of, and for
Mm.
me it was the reverse. Like I was like a god. Like like my mother.
What does that mean?
No, like my mother has like is very like caring, but in a very obsessive way. She's like the destructive. There's like this term. It's called like the destructive mother, I think.
Like a
And it's
default
just
mother
like
or something like that?
yeah, just over controlling
Yeah.
everything and just compensating for everything that every trauma
Mm.
that happened in their life to like
Mm.
make it right for the children.
Mm.
So like she took away all of her responsibility. My entire life was just, it's not your fault, it's not your fault, it's their
Mm.
fault. Same with her. So to me it's the reverse, like,
Yeah.
but the same outcome, resentment, right?
Yeah.
Which is what caused you to get out of that situation, and for me as well.
Yeah. How'd you
And what
feel?
where
How'd you
how do I
feel
feel?
with that? Yeah, with like with your mother, how, because I'm curious now, it's like, how did you start developing resentment?
It's ingrained in you, like, over time. Because if all that you see at home is resentment toward others, like,
Mm.
oh, my life is shit, it's their fault, it's my work's fault, it's
Oh, okay.
my parents' fault, like, and you hear that constantly, you adopt that habit as well. And if you've been told that since you were like a little kid, then you will be resentful towards other people as well. You will play the victim, right?
Mm.
And the weird thing is that I, in that moment when I left, I didn't speak to her for 6 months. Then I came back to like make it right because it's still my
Mm.
mother, right? And I noticed that she was kind of like she was getting into yoga and like trying
Mm.
to
Getting
better
stabler.
herself. Yeah. But I could tell that she was still like not taking responsibility. Um, but I still tried to help her. Like, but that was it took a lot of energy out of me because I had to go home
Mm.
and I had to like listen to all of the crap and just try to support, right? Because I was
Mm.
like thinking, I want to support my mother, this and that. And at one point, she had like some financial troubles because my father in my stepfather, yeah, my stepfather, he
Mm.
had like a brain tumor and he like completely lost his ability to walk and speak. So there was no income. So my mother had really was in deep trouble, and she had some how do you call those people that come and like get your house? How do you call them? Like
Like salespeople
no,
or
the
Mormons?
the ones that try to like liquidate your house for to pay off the bills.
Um, I forgot. But like
Yeah, there's
the bank.
yeah,
Yeah.
I guess the bank. Um, so she was in deep trouble and she asked me for money, but I was like flat broke, right? So I couldn't give her money. So I went to look for money and I
Mm.
found it and I gave it to her and I told her like, don't ask me where I got it. That sounds very sus, but it was from it was from my stepfather's family, which they don't speak to anymore,
Mm.
which is also just all resentment. Um, but then at some point, I kind of got his my stepmother's mother died,
Mm.
and they didn't go to the funeral. He didn't like
Wow.
because my mother had built such a big resentment towards those parents and ingrained it into my
And
stepfather just like she
wow.
did with me.
Wow.
He didn't go to the funeral of his own mother,
Whoa.
and that like destroyed every single like
Trust.
understanding I have for her because
Yeah.
in the end everything that I'm doing is because in the end she's still my mother,
Mm.
right? And she can't do that for someone else. And I
Mm.
realized like she hasn't really changed. And then she also got mad at me for like getting her the money.
Mm.
So
Wow.
once again I broke it off. Um, some I just broke it off and I saw her again at a wedding and I just tried to like be respectful.
Mm.
But it's the way I feel about it now is just I tried everything that I could to like make things right as like a
Mm.
son, as you have to do as a son,
Yeah.
because she gave obviously her life for me. But it doesn't mean that she's my mother that I should like sacrifice my mental health for her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I feel. That's how I feel.
Bro, that's crazy. It's crazy because like I feel like that's a little bit. So when you were speaking about that, I didn't say the story, but it's the same exact thing that happened with my mother as well. My mother
Mm,
had a boyfriend, and I actually have a stepsister. So I have not a stepsister, a half sister. So
yeah.
I have like she had a boyfriend, Irish boyfriend, and um, the boyfriend was the reason. Like he did the exact same things as he did to me. Like kind of like just getting mad because she was also like getting mad at me, guilt tripping me, things like that. And she did those things to his boyfriend,
Mm.
and the boyfriend was having none of it. Like he was like, well, if you don't want, if the relationship's gonna be like this, I'm gonna leave. He had self respect, and that's when I saw, wow, you can actually do that. Like, wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wow, you can do that, and that's wow. That's when no, now that I'm realizing it, he actually motivated me because that same person was the guy who made me start working out. Like
Oh, really?
he was the first male figure in my life, and he came in and told me you need to go to the gym because I was fat, like I was a fat kid, and he
Damn,
told me you need.
was David Goggins your stepfather?
It was Irish, bro. Irish stuff.
God damn it.
It was Irish. So yeah, he was the one. That's why I got into David Goggins because I was already into fitness. But yeah, just going back to what you were saying, it's interesting how when there's a kind of like a toxic trait, it just emits from people unless they take responsibility. Because I could realize that's also what my mother did, like blaming other people,
Mhm.
that it's not her fault too. And when you start doing that, it just poisons everyone too, not just yourself.
And also the funny part about that is that the people who like whatever belief they have, if it's like victim mentality or something else,
Mm,
if they're smart enough, like the longer that they can maintain the behavior,
mm.
the better they'll be at manipulating others in their
Yeah,
surrounding to
yeah,
keep that going, right?
yeah,
So to you, probably that guy's mental strength to defy that, because
mm,
you've probably seen every single person being weaker than your mother.
yeah,
You saw the first person who was stronger than your mother.
yeah,
That made you believe that you could be stronger as well,
yeah, yeah.
right? And yeah, but the thing is, I didn't have that. I could
Mm,
just, the only thing I had was self-belief. So
mm,
I think that's also what helped me in this journey, because to be honest, like I have a lot of knowledge, but like I said, I didn't take any action.
mm,
So yeah, I didn't really have any skills. I just had knowledge, right?
mm,
So the only thing I had was like a belief in myself to like
mm,
change all that.
mm,
And that's what got me here, right? So the
mm.
self-belief has been so important. Like it's been everything. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think, yeah, self-belief, but I also think before self-belief, you would need responsibility like what you did and like what I did too. I think
Yeah. Yeah.
just because that's what I realized both of our stories and like basically we both had trauma, like traumatic familial experience. Some people would say, "Oh, that's nothing," but it's our trauma, right? That's our trauma in our lives, and we decided to end the trauma in a way. Be like,
Yeah.
we're not
Yeah.
going to continue this anymore. We're going to do it our own way.
You're
And
gonna own
that's,
it.
yeah. And then when we started doing that, that's when the self-belief came in. It's like it builds up because when you take responsibility, you take action, you do all these stuff, and you start believing, wow, I can actually do more than what I was told, like than what the society has programmed us to be.
It helps a lot. I do think that I remember when I was 18, before I was 18, I was very like, I wasn't confident at all.
Mm.
So, but when I turned 18, I kind of like put myself into the mindset of be confident until you find out that you're wrong, I guess, until you're wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that helped me with the self-belief, because if you believe that you can do it, you might find out that you can't do it, but if you keep going, you will eventually be able to. So,
Yeah.
but then I obviously head against the brick wall that was like my family situation, right?
Yes.
So the
Yeah. Yeah.
responsibility helped me apply that more. So you kind of right for that. Yeah. But yeah, So
Yeah, man.
where do you want to move in Spain? Like where in Spain? Big city or like a small town?
I don't know, bro. Dude, I'm gonna be honest. I've never been outside the Philippines. I've,
Yeah.
bro. I've only been in. You know, this is kind of like a reflection of why I really felt like I was such a deprived kid. I know that
Mhm.
there's some like more people out there who are more poor and are more deprived, but
Of
we
course.
had the resources to do it. You know, like my mother was a lawyer. She's a lawyer. So she actually had money. I never got into a plane until I had a job and I was able to pay for it. So even just last year, I
Hmm.
paid for my own ticket. And I didn't even have like I only went because I grew up in the country, like in the countryside. And I just that's where I stayed in the countryside. And I didn't experience anything at all. And I don't know anything about the world if I didn't have the internet. I wouldn't even know what's possible.
You would be North Korea.
Bro, I didn't have a laptop for the whole of my my high school and half of
Same,
my
same.
college. Like they didn't buy me a laptop. I
Same.
had to go to the computer shop and
That's
do
so
that.
weird. Now that you say that, my mother didn't really remove anything. She just punished me a lot so that,
Wow.
that I didn't get things.
Wow.
I guess that was her way of like, yeah, taking things away from me. But I didn't have a phone until I was eight, I think 17. I didn't have a laptop until I was 18. I
Wow.
couldn't go out until I was 18. And
Bro, we had the same story. What the fuck?
the
You're
only
like
thing I
twins or
did,
something?
maybe, yeah, maybe. Because the only thing I did or was able to do was read. Like I just
Yeah.
read books.
Yeah, basically.
Because I was punished nonstop, like all the time. I I got like I remember getting a PlayStation when I was like 12. I
Mm.
think I played about 5 times on that thing.
And then what?
Just 5 times over all the years because she punished me. Like she took
Oh,
it away for months. I would like not make my bed and yeah, she would just take it away for like 2 months. It was just crazy, but whatever. It's kind of
so
crazy because same thing. Yeah.
yeah. So what do you think? Just going back to you mentioned video games, because for me, sometimes this is a weird like segue, but you
I'm
do you
I'm
ever
up
feel
for it.
do you ever feel like X is a video game? Because that's sometimes, man, when I'm like when because I used to play to League of Legends.
Yeah.
And when there are times when I'm commenting or when I'm doing something in X that I just have a memory of me sitting down in a computer shop and playing League of Legends. Do you ever have those moments?
Well, thing is life is a game and games are the most optimized kind of part of life
Mm,
because what life is about is setting goals and achieving
mm.
them,
And it's
and
again.
games give you exactly what you need to do that without all of the bullshit.
Mm,
And X is the same thing, and the nice thing about X is just a feedback loop, right? Because
mm.
when you do something in real life, you don't get constant feedback loops of like you're doing great, you're doing bad, this is good, this is not good. You have to find out for yourself.
Yeah.
You have to find everything out for yourself. And X is kind of in between because it's a social media platform and it has like likes and stuff and retweets, which give you some sort of feedback rewards
Right.
that life doesn't have, right? So it's like, yeah, it's Twitter is gamified to some aspect, right? Because of the likes. And I think it's distracting because it takes over your dopamine systems, right?
Yeah.
Getting impressions, getting likes, getting
Yeah.
comments.
Yeah.
It makes it, this is what we started in the beginning of the conversation, but it takes over your brain because if you're not able to modulate your goals and how you process through those goals
Mm,
and managing the emotions you will go throughout the way, you will not reach them.
mm.
And if you if you don't reach those, you will fall into the easy goals, which are
Yeah.
games, series, watching series, everything that's easy. And that's
Yeah.
also the impressions game,
Impressions.
which is easy. Like
It's
it's
easy.
easy. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a game. So I often think when I used to comment like 30 minutes, I used to like have a routine where I just comment 30 minutes, and I felt like I was playing RuneScape or something because
Yeah, yeah,
just chopping like trees, just doing the same thing just constantly. And once again, I realized, so I quit playing video games to do the same fucking boring
yeah.
thing on
Same
a social
shit.
media platform in public. Wow, that's kind of crazy. Like
Yeah,
not
yeah.
doing that. So right now, I'm actually just like you were focusing on solving problems.
Mm,
I'm doing that. I'm trying to get better, getting better at being like useful. So
mm.
that's like, yeah, being useful to people. That's basically what it's all about. And
And
if you
connecting.
manage to be connecting to people, yeah, and if you manage to be entertaining as well,
Yeah,
that's like
that's a plus,
yeah, that's a
right?
plus, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's kind of. So what's your like your end game, your end goal with all of this?
And goal. Well, I don't really know if because you know Naval, right?
Yeah.
And he talks about like infinite games, and I believe in that. Like it's
Hmm.
Twitter, like business. It's not there's not really if you say I'm gonna hit 10K per month, like I don't understand those people who say I'm gonna hit 10K per month. After that, what are you gonna do? You're gonna slack off, It's like I,
Yeah.
my goal is more like a process, like
Hmm.
just
Nice.
being more like posting every day, growing my not even thinking of followers, just doing posting every day, writing every day, getting better. Um, but in life in general, I do want to travel the world. That's a goal because again, like I've told you my story, didn't
Mhm.
go out of Philippines, didn't have an experience, didn't have never had a car. I have a driver's license, but I don't have a car. Funny, right? so so just being able to do what I didn't get to do without when I was a child, explore my curiosity, explore the unknown, see more things. And then eventually, um, right, I'd like to teach Filipinos how to do English because for some reason, like we're good in English, right? We're supposed to be our laws are written in English.
Oh, really? Because your English
Yeah,
is really good. So yeah.
yeah, but it would be surprised that not a lot of Filipinos are actually that good in English. So, which like when I was in public administration, it's like somewhat politics, right? I was
Hmm.
thinking, my God, this is so stupid. It's like you created a legal system that is written in English when people don't even know how to fucking read English. Don't it's
Dude,
like
classic government, like classic.
yeah, it's
Like,
like
does it make no sense? Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that.
yeah, that's literally my thought process. Like, what the fuck? So yeah, the plan is to eventually make a public school like all for free, just teaching English, like
Yeah.
focused on English, nothing else. No other subject. Maybe a little bit of math, a little bit of arithmetic to teach them more business. But essentially what I want to do is like Hormozy, where I want everyone to have a business.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I want to help Filipinos to have this mindset that look, you don't need to go to school, get a job, get a 9 to 5. You can create a business, especially with the internet, but you need to learn English.
Yeah. If you know how to speak English, I think the chances of you making something out of your life are like
Yeah.
infinitely increased just
Mm-hmm.
because like everything is in English and the core like there's basically two things you need to like be successful, and that's like learn new skills and build a network.
Yeah.
And you need language for both of those things.
Mm.
So that's a great goal, man. Like you could do that because do a lot of Filipinos have like internet access?
Yes, but also no.
Yeah.
The thing is we're a third world country, so not which is funny. I don't understand, man. Like people say that they don't have access, but I see like even rag poor people
Yeah, have a
play video
smartphone.
games. Yeah, like so I don't understand why again it's just a political mindset, like
Yeah.
people who is saying that oh poverty, poverty, having the poverty mindset, and then I
Dude,
see poor people having like phones playing there.
it's so
So
weird. Like it's from my perspective when I like scroll X, there's a lot of creators that say that they're from a third world country, but then like that's just not how we perceive it. Like I'm from Belgium, so when we go to the Philippines, we don't think of Philippines as a third world
Yeah,
country.
yeah.
It's just a
It's
country
just the
that
country.
that's not
That's
like filthy rich.
mm,
That's just it, right?
mm,
If you go there, you will get great service, you will get what you
mm,
expect from a first world country. So that
mm,
makes it by definition not a third world country.
mm.
I think it's like you said, like it's a broke, like a poor mindset.
Yeah, it's the mindset really.
Yeah.
Because
I- yeah.
my girlfriend, we're going to a deeper rabbit hole, and this is why I started like having this vision of trying to help Filipinos too. My girlfriend is half French,
Mm.
half Filipino, and she always she rants a lot about how Filipinos kind of look down on themselves, you
Mm.
know, because again they have what it takes. It's just that they think that because they're Filipinos, they're
They
lower.
don't have it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I want to do in the future to be like to breed people confidence. Like I'm also gonna say, look, I'm also Filipino, you know? I made it. So you can too. You just need to the right skills and the right network, as you mentioned. So
Yeah, like, and life is not about your value. Like, it doesn't matter. Your value doesn't matter. It's how
yeah.
you like present yourself as
Mm,
high value.
mm,
That's it. Like,
mm.
there's so many people that, like, you're basically like yourself. When I see you online, I don't think you live in a third world country.
Yeah.
Like, take it from me. Like, I know people in Belgium that look like they live in a third world country. It doesn't matter for shit, man. Like if you have the mentality of like becoming a high value person, if you master language, if you master like speech, communication, social skills, all that stuff, people will perceive you as high value and you will get high value opportunities. It's
Yeah,
that
yeah,
simple.
for
It's just
sure.
about education in the end, right? And that's
Mm,
what you want to provide, which is nice. But I think a lot of what you will do is going to be mindset related because
mm,
it providing information, like thousands of people have tried this, but providing information is only useful if people want it.
yeah.
So you have to
Go
kind of
deeper.
like, yeah, you will have to go like, yeah, also kind of like political or like popular, like
Mm,
popularistic,
mm,
something that will go viral in, or like something that speaks to the people there, right?
yeah.
Like,
Well,
yeah.
I kind of don't want to go the politics route anymore because I tried to. I ran for a youth council and
Oh, really?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I ran and I won, but it was
Nice.
so what do you call it? Authoritative. Like it was so hierarchical. So
Yeah, yeah.
because I was at the bottom, I I would only follow what the top says.
Yeah.
So man, I was like, fuck this, bro. I ain't doing this.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's great about Twitter. And that's why I want to teach people English, and it's up to them whether to do it or not. But I want them to see that, look, there's this whole other place called the internet where you don't have to follow anyone else. You can just do you.
That sounds so foreign. Like this place called the internet. Have you heard of it? I
Yeah.
guess what I meant by politics is not like necessarily the politics itself, but the popular aspect of politics. Like you have to speak to the common Filipino,
Right.
and that can be through YouTube, through whatever.
Mm,
Just you have to be able to reach them. That's all, and like
mm,
share your message, just like you do on X. Just share a
yeah.
consistent message. Do you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You have.
This will be uploaded to YouTube, bro.
Oh, nice, nice. Like just posting videos on there catered to the Filipinos would be great. That would be great.
Yeah.
But of course, it's hard though, because if you want to teach Filipinos like English, you will probably have to make a channel in Filipino, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But
So,
we'll
yeah,
see. I mean,
yeah,
I again, that's the dream. I want to start more in the where I grew up in because like I see a lot of people there. That's where I saw it's like they're rag poor, but they have phones. You know,
Yeah.
I had a
Yeah.
program in there. This is why I got pissed off because I had a program like I ran for youth council and then I was trying to like get an internet router just to put a an internet place
Mhm.
in there, and they said there was no budget. Like
Let's see.
it's just how much is an internet router? That's 1,600 pesos. That's like that's 20
Yeah.
80 euros. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like when a government doesn't have budget, that's just, in other words, they don't want to give you budget. That's just like how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I kind of like didn't really respond to what you said earlier, but um, I think about the goals and the process and stuff. I think when we try to do something differently, the goals pull us in, right? Like the
Mm,
10K a month is something
yeah.
that's really appealing
Mm,
because it signifies like a change in your life. Like if
right.
you're broke, getting to 10K a month is important. But the point of the going for the outcome is to, like you said, fall in love with the process
Mm,
and eventually fall in love with the process of life, right?
mm,
Is setting goals constantly, understanding how you can get over the setbacks, understanding how you can like manage your emotions, understanding what it takes, right?
yeah.
And I see a lot of people that reach goals and they're incredibly like driven, etc. Like you can't say anything bad about them, but they fall into a pit after
Mm,
they get the goal.
yeah.
And this is a
Because
clear
then,
signal that they don't know like why they do it.
yeah.
They haven't like thought about the real reason or like asked themselves like why do I want this? Do I just want the 10K a month or do I want to have it change my life or like become a better person, whatever, you know? I think that's important, like to
Right.
realize.
So how about you? What's your end goal?
Uh, well, pretty much I also want to travel.
Mm.
I just want to, yeah, this just sounds corny, but the freedom to travel, the freedom to do what I want. No, I want to like defeat myself, kind of. I want to
Wow.
win over myself because I
Over and
don't
over
care
again.
about, yeah, I don't care about all of the external crap. The real like win is beating yourself.
Mm.
That's it for me. Like I want to get over all of the things that are holding me back, all the things that I like carry inside of me that are like unproductive, let's say, or like yeah, just things that I don't want to like
Mm.
spread around. Either that's like emotions or just bad thinking, whatever. No, I want to master myself. And when you do that, everything else comes automatically.
Yeah.
Like when you become a better person, you become more skillful, you'll be more useful to other people. Also that like defeating myself is also about like finding a way to not let everything be about me.
Mm.
Because like we have the tendency, which is it's a survival mechanism to
Mm.
like put ourselves in front of everyone else, or the reverse. That's also a survival mechanism. Like altruism, the reverse of
Yeah.
like it's the same thing, but
Selfishness, yeah.
yes, it's also selfishness. But I want to get to a point where I know what I'm worth and I know like where I am, but I'm not doing the things in my life for myself,
Mm.
kind of.
Mm.
Like for instance, Jordan Peterson, he kind of like transcended himself.
Wow.
Like he does things now. He's known because of him, because of
Yeah.
what he stands for and his intelligence. But the reason why he still does things is for other people. And that's
Mm.
where I want to get. Because right now I'm at this point where, and also I've noticed this in business, is like business is not about you, it's about the different other person, right?
Yeah.
And I notice that that's still hard for me because I'm just trying to survive, you know, I'm just trying to
Mm.
like better myself. And that mentality limits you from helping others,
Mm.
which limits you from getting better yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
So I want to start like living more for other people while not becoming like necessarily like
Altruistic.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
that's what I mean.
So I think I would put it this way, because this is what I wrote as well. I know what you mean. It's like living for yourself for others. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, kind of, yeah,
So it's like you live for yourself, because of what you love, but you do what you love for others. So it's like you
yeah,
live for yourself for others.
exactly, exactly,
Does that
exactly.
make
Because
sense?
yeah, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense because when you, for what I noticed for myself, and you probably will relate to this, is when you live for yourself, there is so many things that hold you back
Mm.
because you're like you see other people as enemies. You like just an example is like on Twitter when someone else is doing better than you just get this like feeling of like, oh,
I know that,
punch this
bro.
person. I want to punch this person in the face. Like you see them being successful and you're like, wow, super nice. And then in the back of your mind, you're like, I'll fucking punch him in the fucking face if I see this guy. Just that thing, I want to let go of that. And that, I'm
Yeah.
just not there yet, but that's the thing of like knowing what you're worth, knowing that you're useful,
Mm.
so that nothing else bothers you anymore as well, right?
Mm.
Because yeah, the only people that care for like competition, for instance, are the people that can't compete.
What do you mean by that?
That by its own, the only people that care about competition are people that cannot compete in
So
the
it's like
marketplace.
insecurity.
Yes. If you know your worth, what other people are doing
Wow.
doesn't
Okay.
matter for shit.
Mm. Mm.
Because you know your worth, you know other people value what you do,
It
and
doesn't
that's it.
matter. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's like
That's what I want to.
it's something like a niche of one as well, right?
Yeah,
Because
kind of, yeah.
you don't
And
care
go.
about, yeah, yeah, then go. But that's the first thing that pops in my head. It's like you don't care about competition. And I think, you know, not I don't want to brag, but I feel like somewhat my offer has gone to that point, because I'm not really scared of other ghostwriters anymore. Because I know like I can bring more to the table, you know?
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
have different angles too. So yeah, that's I guess I get what you mean. Definitely get what you mean. But as a person, I don't know if I sometimes I what you mentioned, that was just me. I saw this creator. Um the creator had
Spill the
like
tea.
the creator had 1,000 followers like a day before, right? And I was messaging the creator. I don't want to say the gender because I'll
I
get
know who
found
you're
out.
talking about. I know who you're talking
A
about. Yeah.
thousand, and then next after 3 days, that creator went from 1,000 to two
Two
thousand two
points. Yeah.
hundred.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah, that's funny, right? Because I was talking to my girlfriend about this. I was ranting. Like, I was like, bro, I'm like putting out 4 posts a day, like for fucking 6 months. I have 700 followers, and this fucking
Creator.
gets like, like, what the fuck,
I think
man?
I think we're thinking of the same person.
Yeah. So, but the thing is how I dealt with this is to just realize like you attract you attract a certain type of people, right? Like
Yeah.
if I'm like if I'm like if I was beautiful, if I was beautiful first, let's say I was beautiful, and nothing against beautiful people because I'm beautiful as well. If I was beautiful, and let's say there would be, let's say X would be filled with 17-year-old guys who had no riz, who had no, haven't never seen a girl in their life. Well, I think that I would find success if I use that, right? And then if I could say, for instance, that I only got there not because of my beauty, but because of my
Good writing.
authority and my skills,
Yeah.
that would make me right. That's a fair strategy, but still, man, like,
It's kind of it triggers you, you know. It's like, what
yeah,
the fuck?
yeah, man. Oh,
Dude.
yes. That's funny though.
I think we are thinking of the same person now.
Yeah, but to be honest, nothing like nothing against the creator because yeah, that's life, man.
Yeah, and
You
it's
know?
great. I mean, the creator is good at writing. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, yeah.
yeah. And good like what I want to say is that girls in general, or like women in general,
Mm.
are very good at personal branding from naturally,
Wow.
because personal branding is about attraction,
Like, right. Yeah, 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 for sure. For sure.
right?
For sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like women are the peak of attraction, right? That's
Mm.
ingrained into their like everything they do. So yes, it's like perfect for them to do this. They just lack like confidence and self-belief,
Mm.
which men have from nature, right?
Right.
But men don't have attraction
Yeah, yeah,
naturally,
yeah.
right?
Mm.
So we have to learn how to present ourselves. They have to learn how to be confident when they're doing stuff. And
Mm.
she obviously unlocked that confidence, which I praise her for. Like
Yeah.
nothing like it's just like it, I hope that she realizes, because I can imagine that it gets to her head.
Mm.
She has to realize that those followers don't mean jack shit, because like it's just horny guys, right? I mean, she has to realize that what she's doing, like what she's doing, has a certain outcome, and if she's fine with that outcome, it's okay. You have to be honest with yourself, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm honest with myself. Like I might have good writing, but my presentation is often really shit. Like, or
Mm.
just I don't show enough of myself, my story, whatever. I accept that. That's
Mm.
maybe why I don't have a big, like, ginormous growth. You have to accept the reverse, that you are great at attracting people, but you don't really have a lot of value yet.
Yeah, 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 for
You know what
sure.
I mean? Yeah,
For sure. I get
yeah,
you.
yeah.
But
It's funny that you thought of the same thing, though.
yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like I'm just gonna post the YouTube link for this one in Twitter.
It's
Because
fine. It's fine. Yeah,
nah,
you need to talk about things, man. Like,
yeah, but it's funny, bro. But yeah, no offense, by the way, if you're watching this.
no, definitely not. Like, all like praise to you, man. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
but I'm coming for you. You better know. My next my next thread. My next
exposing.
But yeah. So yeah, man. Actually, I think my notes, we touched on all the things that I wanted to touch on. Funnily enough, I was actually going to ask you about like the you leaving your MBA as well, but we touched on that. So,
Oh, did you see
um,
that before?
dude, I went to your podcast, bro. Like your
Ah,
Spotify, and yeah, I listened to like what to one episode, and you were like talking about you leaving your MBA. So yeah.
oh damn. That's crazy, because I should like maybe start up my podcast again. I'm gonna start it up eventually, but I just need to get like my shit together, like business wise, because
Mm,
podcast is just accelerator to your brand.
yeah,
Yeah. But thank you though for listening to that.
for sure, dude. I got you.
Yeah.
If you have like, if you need guests for your podcast, I mean,
Yeah,
you know.
definitely. Definitely, man. I'm gonna invite the Filipino legend instantly. You can sing for like 5 minutes and stuff. Like bring the guitar. That's nice, man.
Dude, that I wish that my guitar things would get as much impressions as as much followers.
I mean, to be honest, it might not get you followers, but I think you have to realize that a lot of people, your followers don't mean anything about how known you are. So if you
Right.
have, like, I remember when I was an esports player, that I didn't have a lot of followers, but a lot of people knew me.
Wow. Hmm.
That's just it's broader than that. Like, you know Kylie Jenner, but do you follow her on Instagram?
Oh, I
No, right?
see. Wow,
It's
wow. It
it's
gets get
wider.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. So don't worry about that. I like the singing videos a lot, and many people do. So keep doing that shit. And yeah, man, I really enjoyed this podcast.
Yeah,
Like,
bro. This is the most conversation like podcast that I've had because normally I don't know, like most of my guests, we just like they're waiting for a question. They're waiting for a question. And yeah, this was fun, bro. This was fun.
it's hard. It's hard because I had the same struggles with my podcast. It's really hard to get people out of their shell,
Yeah.
to make them comfortable to like be conversational, because if they think like someone's listening to me, it's just because they think so,
Like
someone
a
else is
lot of
listening.
people, yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
You have to get out of that mindset. Just speak.
Yeah, I love that. That's why like it was very interesting when we were starting out, you were like talking about, when are we going to record? And I could just record whenever. Like
Yeah.
no one ever told me that. So yeah, this is interesting. It's cool.
I do that as well, and it helps with getting your guests comfortable. Because if
Mm,
you just start recording and you don't really put that like really like anxiety feeling start of like, oh, what am I
mm.
gonna say? Just start like you would in real life. It's not like you walk up to someone and say, do you want to have an awkward first conversation right now? No, you just start chatting.
Dude, you're hilarious, bro.
No, thank you, thank you.
Jesus. All right. Well, yeah, man, it's been fun. I feel,
Yep.
dude, we've been like talking for almost 2 hours now, but yeah, it was so flowy. It was so cool.
Yep, we'll do it again, man.
Yeah, for sure. You're in podcast next time.
Oh, uh, yeah, stop the recording and I want to take a picture as well.
All right. See you guys.
See you guys.